So, I don't know on what level would you like me to tell you about men and women. The question isn't, why did you make me a woman, but why is there this blessing, thank you for not making me a woman. This is something else. If we're talking about the blessings, we're talking about the wisdom of Kabbalah, because without that we can't understand anything in the Torah. But first of all, we have to accept in our world that in our world each one of us has a role. Like every man and woman in general, so do men separately and women separately. We see that this is how it's arranged by nature. Whoever is not wise enough, he's trying to go against nature. So we see that there is such inclinations in humanity to be wise. And after a few dozens of years, it ends and we go back to how things are. Now, according to the wisdom of Kabbalah, what is a man and what is a woman? These are two levels. Where gever, man in Hebrew, comes from the Hebrew word hidgabrut, to overcome, where one overcomes his ego, where he aims it entirely in order to pull, to acquire, to conquer, and whoever overcomes it towards a good connection with others, to overcome the ego, then he is called a gevel, a man, which means to overcome. And the entire wisdom of Kabbalah is aimed at making all of us into men, meaning creatures which can overcome the ego, because man's inclination is evil from its very start, and for us to be able to overcome our ego and to be in love towards others. So, a giver, a man, is he who has an inclination towards love of others, that at least he is developing in this direction. And therefore, this is how it's called. An isha, a woman, this is still called an egoistic desire within a person that has not yet been corrected, and therefore demands correction, and therefore, regardless of sex, a person that's engaged in the wisdom of Kabbalah and doing that in order to change his nature, to rise above the ego. So, in the meantime, for every time that the egoistic desire or inclination reveals to him, he says, thank you for making me according to your will, creating me according to your will, which is the will to receive that is working in me this way. And this is what I start with. Man's inclination is evil from its very start. And this is the level that we all start from, called an isha, a woman, that her strength is weak and she doesn't have the ability to yet overcome it. Later on, when we work on ourselves, we rise above the degree called a spiritual woman, regardless of sex, of course, and we reach the state of a gever, a man, from the word idgabrut, to overcome. And then I say that blessing that a man has to say, which means thank you for not creating me a woman, meaning for giving me the ability to overcome my ego. Yes, that I came out of that and I became a man. Thanks for bringing me closer to the love of others. That has created me, because it's with the help of the reforming light that works on me. It inverts my desire from egoistic to giving, bestowal, love, and this is what I bless for. The same as for not making me a nation of the world, making me a slave, and so on. All of these blessings, it's about that. What are the blessings of dawn, of the shachar? The blessings, when the dawn comes, the higher light, it performs such corrections on me, and then from a level of a woman, a slave, a nation of the world, all these different types of the egoistic desires, I rise above them gradually until I become a gever, a man, from the word to overcome, and a Jew, from the word yichud, unification, to be unified with all of creation, including the higher force. So this is the real meaning of these sayings. Yeah. And this obligation applies both to women and also to men in our world, and everyone in general.